Hello, colleagues who have joined us recently, and thank you all who have been staying with us from the previous talk until our latest talk, I guess. It is a quality conference community. Sorry, it is a Quality Engineering Community Day 2023 that is conducted by Global Testing and Pro Quality Community. We're happy to see all of you with us. I want to mention that our session has been recorded and the recording will be available in a week after the session. Don't hesitate to leave your question for our speaker in YouTube chat or on our community page. The most interesting question I will ask to our speaker this session. And let me introduce our latest speaker for today, Artsem Varyvoda, with the topic how to achieve data quality on dashboard using automation. Hello, Artsem.
Hello, Andrei.
How it is to be the last speaker on this conference?
Well, it's good and bad at the same time because conference is running for almost 10 hours and I think everyone is exhausted, but still for guys who are still with us, I think it's very good for this eager to learn and all this stuff. So yeah, thanks for being with us.
Last standing mans. Yeah, okay, so stage is yours.
Yeah, thanks. That was quite a short introduction. So just for the recording, my name is Artsem and I am lead data quality engineer at EPAM Systems. I'm working here for almost 4 years, I think. And at the same time, I'm the head of data quality Baltics. So yeah, our agenda will be the following. We'll start with few words about data quality. Then I will talk about like project structure, how we implement automation on dashboards. Then we definitely jump to technical implementation and yeah, lessons learned. So what was good, what was bad, and what could be avoided actually. Talking about a few words about data quality, it's partially a repeat because Anton Lazarchuk today already presented his case study and he already say a lot of good stuff about data quality and the specialization. I just wanted to highlight maybe some important points. So because, as you know, today data is basically everywhere, and I'm not going to bother you with all this incredible amount of numbers, so that a lot of Google requests are being executed each second, and currently it's like lots of data around the world, so more than 100 zettabytes. And from my side, I really love talking about zettabytes because I found this really cool example that even if each day, like every person on the planet will each second will send an email, only after like 4,000 years, it will be 1 zettabyte of email. So it's quite incredible number, as you can see. So data is everywhere. But who is actually data quality specialist and how it's different from QA? From the like general purpose, it's not a different actually because we're all working for quality for doing like projects working with stable quality, so without bugs, without defects, and all the stuff. It's just a different domain with lots of data applications, databases, and other systems. And one of the most important parts that it's been responsible, like not only for functional, not functional type of task, it's for all the data across organizations. So we're talking about data governance, data strategy, and all this stuff. But definitely when you're like junior or middle, it's like functional tasks, it's verification of some ETL and extract, transform, load process. It's some simple data task, but yeah, with more seniority, it's like question of all the data across organization and managing all the stuff, helping customers. And it's not only for data quality, but it's very proactive person because it's hard to like create quality if you don't know like what is happening, where the organization is going, what is like a subdomain of this data with lots of usable details and so on. And here we can jump to the next slide. So as you can see, if we're talking about technical stack, it's definitely SQL. SQL is basically a must for databases, and it's impossible to work as data quality engineer without it. It's definitely cloud because almost all projects have cloud in some kind of form. But usually it's Azure, it's AWS, it's Google Cloud, and it's one of the programming languages, but usually it's Python because it's most common on almost all of the projects. It's have a lot of beautiful libraries for working with data, like pandas and all the stuff. So basically like this. If we're talking about technology stack in more details, as you can see, it's SQL, cloud, and some programming languages. It's not only limited to the points that I just mentioned, it's also some continuous integration, continuous delivery stuff. It's some additional libraries like AWS DQ. It's Jupyter notebooks, Postman for working with API, but basically it's even more. And I think that it's impossible to put everything onto one slide. Talking about project types, I can say just briefly that it's in the last time it's more and more projects with machine learning verification and artificial intelligence. But previously it was lots of data migration projects, especially from on-premise to cloud, to some big data systems to save costs and operate with data more effectively. It's definitely verification of extract, transform, load process because it's lots of this nowadays. And yeah, our favorite is dashboards and reporting. So here, without further ado, let's speak about like why data quality is so important on our projects. I mean, in case of reporting, dashboards, and spoiler, definitely not only on ours. Firstly, talking about our project, unfortunately, I can't provide like all the details because again, projects, confidential, and all the stuff. So it will be a little bit generalized, but idea is the same. If we're talking about current project and where automation were implemented, it is a reinsurance project. And from the one side, it's the same idea as insurance. So basically, it was some car accident, someone fall from the ladder, for example, and insurance companies are helping us to like with unpredictable situations which is happening. But when we're actually talking about reinsurance, it's different sphere because it's not companies that are directly providing to you insurance. It is companies who are helping like smaller insurance company to summarize their risks. So for example, if you like a small insurance company and you have like I don't know, only 10 insurance who are you're protecting, and one or two of them will like crash their car, for example, it will be just incredible cost for you. But talking about reinsurance company, it is companies who are helping you to like spread all the risks, so you will be protected. But definitely, yeah, they are receiving some kind of premium, some kind of bonuses for them. And as you can imagine, it's incredible amount of money, incredible amount of data. So, and yeah, all the stuff needs to be somehow presented. If I'm talking about general data requirements in these projects, again, I'm not going to like go through all of them in details. I just inserted it as an example because it's complex domain issues like large losses during catastrophes, some kind of aggregates during mass insurance events, and all the stuff. So, and actually, from my experience, when you're working on some kind of projects, because I was working like on 2 insurance projects, it's not so difficult to work with like technical tools with technical implementations. It's more complex to understand the banking sphere, to understand the reinsurance sphere itself, because the calculations are really incredible. And in the summary, what is actually happening? All the data that is like being gathered are showing to the stakeholders, to the guys from the business side, in the ways of reporting. So here is just a like simple example of the report, like how much sales were done in this region, like which products are the most popular and all the stuff. And it's looking really simple from the first side, but again, before this data is being shown in this form, it's being like loaded, transformed, cleaned. So it's a lot of difficult steps, but from the business side, it's looking pretty simple. In more details, it is like looking like some KPI cards that you can see on the left. It's some simple graphs that you can see on the right. So what was the sale? How was the sale? And yeah, basically business information. But sometimes things are not so simple and understandable. Because even on reports, sometimes it's situation when it is just some kind of data set is being loaded directly into report, and it's contains like incredible amounts of records. Definitely, like not like customers are scrolling through a million of records and calculating all the informations manually. It is using as a subset. So and stakeholders could like perform their calculations on their own. So it's some kind of I don't know, sandbox. So jumping to the next slide, let's talk about project structure itself. And from the one side, it's pretty common and simple. Because from the first point of view, it's looking at standard ETL process. We have source system on the left. We have some transformation in the middle. And at the right, we actually showing some data like on Power BI, on Palantir, which is a reporting tool too, and some other business intelligence tool. So actually, today we are talking about Power BI, but when we are talking about automation, it's not on. It could be applied to not only Power BI, basically to any reporting tool. So on the left, we have like internal data source system, client data, and external data, and all this data have incredible amount of security. So from our side, for like almost no one from customer side, from our side, it's impossible to take a look at the data directly, like what is happening in the source system. Usually we're working with Azure, with data in Azure, with data in Palantir, and rarely it's some other databases like again, we have Oracle, we have Microsoft SQL Server, so it's a lot of different databases and all the stuff. From all this mess, everything is being loaded in the data sets, and data sets, it's basically like data marts in extract, transformed, load process. It's cleaned, aggregated data without like issues, so it could be just directly loaded into all the reporting systems. If we simplify this stuff, if we like go from all the lots of dependencies, it is looking like database, then we have Power BI dataset, and then it is loaded to Power BI. I also left Palantir here, but definitely like from volunteer, you can't have access to Power BI. Just in the example that reporting is not only limited to Power BI. So the things are looking really the same if we go in with the approach that data is being cleaned and everything is good, and then we have just data set, and Power BI report developers are just creating data sets on their side. Unfortunately, things are not so simple because we have lots of legacy code, and it's quite a rare situation when we just have good database with clean data. Sometimes it's legacy codes, and our company is quite huge. It's a lot of people replacements, not like replacements, but switching between departments. And sometimes it's hard to understand who was responsible for this data, where to gather this information. So sometimes things are going really strange. But nothing is actually nothing is actually non-manageable, and everything could be solved. So coming to the question why we actually need it and why we come with question automation, because from my perspective, especially when you're talking about automation, first things that you need to understand is why you're doing this. It's good to automate everything just for automation, but in the result, it's not the best approach. Why do we need it? Because almost all business users, fortunately, now using Power BI, not only legacy solutions. And it's really critical for them. Power BI is a golden layer of data, even platinum, layer of data, because everything should be just perfect, without any issues, without any bad things. Because based on this, sometimes some crazy business decisions not in case of craziness, in case of how much amount of people and money being involved in this. Definitely, we need stable work of Power BI. Definitely, we need to security on the data, so people without access shouldn't see financial data. Performance testing is a must, because customers become very angry when a report is loading for incredible amount of time. And yeah, even for developers, some small change in Power BI, so moving something to the left, to the right, implementing new filters, it's completely different user experience. And on this point, we can talk about technical implementation, sorry, finally. And everything simple here, it's Selenium. And I think everyone who is started to think about automation is on some kind of web applications at the beginning or in the end come to the Selenium, because it's quite popular library for a lots of programming languages, and it's quite easy to understand with good functionality. Talking about our project, when I came to the project, I wrote Selenium with .NET because I was working with .NET more. But after time, we switched most of this to Python, because again, I'm not the only one of the project, and lots of people are using Python already, and technical expertise is much better in this. So yeah, we are actually now with Python. But I can say with it, we don't have any .NET code at the moment. What is actually Selenium? At this part, I just took part this quote from the Selenium site, that Selenium automates browser, and that's it. Basically, that's really it, because with the help of Selenium, what is actually happening? Chrome, like Microsoft Edge, Opera, Mozilla Firefox, just is being opened, and automatically it is being clicked, scrolls, new window is opening, window is closed, some values is being entered, like rejected, and all the stuff, basically everything that you are doing with your hands, just with help of Selenium. So from the one side, it's looking really as a good pill, and the perfect pill, because with Selenium, you could create lots of different technical approaches. And here I just put all the locator types. Locator type is actually how Selenium understand where some kind of element or button or number is located. So it could click on this, extract information from this, and all the stuff. We're not going to go through all of them now, because again, it's in the matter of time. I just wanted to focus on ID, because from my point of view, it's really perfect. When developer is actually developing a report or any web page, he could just put an ID here, and it will always, this element will be under this ID, not like matter if it will be moved, removed, or anything like this. So just, yeah, sounds like a perfect pill. And just a few more words about actual technical implementation with what was different. Here I put just an example of the report, and when you're working with Selenium, with all these locator types, it is different areas with which you could operate. So from the first point of view, it's looking really simple. You just have lots of elements and all the stuff, but when you're working, you have like main elements, which is usually stationary. It's like name of the web page. It's name of the visual, which is basically just text or just a pointer to another page. So it's stable, it's not changing, and easier to work with. The second thing is some kind of tabs, switchers. It's a little bit complex because it's have dynamic values. It is quite often changed, and new years is being added, new some kind of subdomains is being added. So it is require more time to like how to say this, to redevelop your automation tests. Definitely we have values like for data quality. Definitely it's numbers, it's how much amount of something. And yes, this is the main part. So what I can actually say about our experience with using Selenium and all the stuff. Actually, Power BI is not the best tool for automation from our experience, and this is happening due to several reasons. When you are working with Selenium, as I showed to you previously, we have some kind of numbers like I don't know, 12 months, 30 million amounts of revenue, and so on. And when you're working with Power BI directly, definitely in web page code, even one value always will be in different form. So, for example, 20 million 60 600,000, sorry for big numbers, could be shown like in first form, in second form, in third form. And it's like some kind of rounding. It's removing unnecessary symbols in the string. So it's, again, it's not so super difficult, but it's additional logic, additional amount of time, and all the stuff. After report is being deployed, and we're actually working with deployment to application, which is available for everyone in the business and so on. This like URL is being changed. Again, it's not so super difficult. You are just copy paste this new URL page, but again, it's need to understand when deployment like performed URL of this page. Again, it's time. But unfortunate part that sometimes destination of some values could be changing. So, and this is meaning that if you are using like selector, each time you're like opening Power BI report, it will be different. So pass to element showing numbers was passed one when you was executing, pass two when you executed it the second time, it could be like rotating. And this is really bad because we can just work with it because it's really unstable station. We're actually using CSS selector mostly, but because they are more stable in Power BI, but it is demotivating sometimes because one element could be look like this, and it's like lots of really huge string, and again, it's being sometimes changed after adding new elements and all the stuff. But again, we can work with this. It's additional time, and we can work with this. But which is definitely not fine, that some values are just not possible to capture at all. Some values are being shown as a picture. Some values are just don't have some kind of selector. It is being like generated when the page is opening. And in some cases, again, it's each time you're opening the report, it will be completely new dynamically generated value. And it's just impossible to work with sometimes, unfortunately. So something could be automated and something just couldn't. So just briefly talking about our approach as true automation guys, we are decided to like cover with data checks, especially data checks, as much as possible to the left, because talking about capturing the data and all the stuff, it's almost impossible to capture something at the layer of Power BI. Unfortunately, same is going for Palantir because it's dynamically generating selectors and all the stuff. But fortunately, when I was working with Tableau and some other reporting tools, it's have opportunity to add IT and so on. What I can say to lessons learned, just briefly in 2 minutes, because we're shortly running out of time. When you're automating Power BI, this automation is just ideal for performance verification, which I wasn't mentioned during our presentation, but it's just incredible because due to huge data sets, we often have some kind of issues with report is being loading for, I don't know, huge amount of time when Azure is performing some kind of optimization, scaling up, scaling down, and during this time, customer needs the report ASAP as usually. So during like performance verification with like collecting information, how much report is opening, how much it take time to like show some information on some visual, we're collecting some kind of statistics and basically using it. As I already mentioned, data check should be moved to the backend as much as possible because it's simpler, it's better, and SQL is just SQL. It's stable, it's working without any issues. Set points that we need to communicate with stakeholders as much as possible, even if they're not technical at all. But trust me, especially in reinsurance domain, in all the financial domains, you could be really cool technical specialist, architect, and so on with lots of huge year of experience. But when people are like working 20, 30 years in reinsurance, they have incredible amount of knowledge. And it's really cool when they're sharing their thoughts on how we could proceed the data from not like general data quality checks, from the business perspective itself. And it's really, really useful. And the last point, not like only related to our project, the data quality and project should be focused on all data and related applications. So to what you have access, what could be like captured with automations, it must be captured. So I think that's all from my side. Sorry that I run for like 1-2 minutes out of my time frame. And
No worries, no worries. Thank you very much, Artem, for your presentation, for your inspiring talk. I see a couple of questions for you. Uh, First of all, on which environment tests are being executed? Is it possible to do it without opening browser?
it's one of the trickiest question because honestly, I don't like so much that with Selenium browser is just being opened on like laptops, on virtual machines, but basically it's just simple like Windows machine and all the stuff. And it's not like being integrated into some kind of Azure DevOps and all the stuff because Selenium basically it's like opening web window, web browser, and it's almost impossible to do this just from the backend side without some graphical and so on. Also, Selenium have some additions to like, it's like opening a window of Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, anything, but I think it's something like headless parameter. When it's being opened, it's just not being shown to user, but it's basically like the same. So the same environment. So summarizing, just Windows machine, just Windows laptop or virtual machine. Yeah, just Windows.
Okay,
Now,
okay, get it. Yeah, thank you. And next question: is it possible to use Selenium on Locker, Tableau, or any other reporting tools?
Yeah, I think it was already covered in the presentation. And honestly, when we're talking about Looker and Tableau, it will be better than with Power BI from our experience, because it have Tableau and Looker have more stable selectors. It's more like user friendly for automation testing developers in this case, and for data quality. So yeah, yeah. Basically, it's possible. Selenium is possible on everything which is opening in your web browser. It could be simpler, it could be a little bit harder, but it's always working.
Yeah, and probably the most general question that I can imagine, but I assume it is mostly related to the data quality. How much time it is take to start using Selenium from scratch?
Well, general answer, it depends, because actually, from my point of view, Selenium is very easy library if you worked with programming at all, especially with Python, because it's not like super hard algorithm and all the stuff. Basically, when you're developing with Selenium, what you're doing, you're as a user without any automation, you're clicking something, you're collecting some information, you're saving something, and the same thing you're just writing with Selenium, like open this window, click at this button, and all this stuff. So if you're already familiar with programming languages, it's like 1-2 weeks, it's or even faster. Definitely, it's some not like bottlenecks, like hidden features, better optimization, like actions in Selenium and all the stuff. But using it from scratch, it's question of 1-2 weeks if you're working with programming already. If you don't know programming languages, and sorry, you need to learn some, at least something about Python.
Do you know about any specific probably to use Selenium for your task? I mean, not only to automate the browser, to make a different some kind of user scenarios. Just to click buttons, so that's it.
At this point, I'll give me a few seconds. I'll just jump to this slide, and automate all the things is usually a bad approach, because I knew a lot of people who just, I will automate something and doing this for several weeks, while task itself is taking like one, I don't know, maybe if you are lazy to check in for Ryanair tickets or something like this, you can perform it like automatically, but still you need to like maintain this automation.
Okay, got it. Okay, thank you, Artyom. Thank you for our attendees who are still with us. That was the latest talk for today. Thank you being all the time with us. Have a nice day or evening.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
Goodbye.